Welcome to the Velvet Crown Tales. Today's tale is called, They Called Me the Powerless Princess Until the Phoenix King Bowed Before Me.
On the morning my sister was crowned heir to the throne, my father ordered me to stand beside her. Not because he loved me, not because I belonged there. He wanted the kingdom to see the difference between us. Princess Aurelia stood beneath the golden windows of the Hall of Flame, wearing a gown stitched with thousands of tiny rubies. Every movement caught the sunlight and turned it into fire. I stood 3 steps behind her in grey. The colour servants wore, the colour widows wore, the colour our kingdom gave to things it had already decided were dead. Smile, Ilara, my mother whispered without looking at me. I did. I had become very good at smiling while people buried me. Below us hundreds of nobles filled the hall, lords in crimson cloaks, ladies glittering with gold, generals wearing ceremonial armour. And above them all stood the flame throne. It had been carved from a single piece of black stone more than 800 years ago. No one knew where the stone had come from, only that it could not be melted, could not be broken, and that every rightful ruler of Valtharis had awakened its flames. My father had, my grandfather had, every king and queen whose portrait hung along the palace walls had stood before that throne and summoned fire from nothing. Everyone except me. I was 7 years old the first time they tested my magic. I still remembered the priest pressing a burning crystal into my palms. Do not be afraid, he had told me. I hadn't been. Aurelia had been tested 2 years before me. Flames had erupted around her so brightly that 3 priests had fallen to their knees. I had expected the same. Instead, the crystal went cold. They tried again. Nothing. They brought another crystal. Nothing. By sunset, my father had stopped calling me his little flame. By the end of the week, servants had begun whispering a different name. The Hollow Princess. Eventually, the entire kingdom preferred another. The Powerless Princess. Ilara. Aurelia's voice pulled me back into the throne room. She glanced over her shoulder. Her smile was perfect. Everything about Aurelia was perfect. Golden hair, amber eyes, powerful fire magic. The daughter every king prayed for. Your face, she murmured, you look miserable. I'm watching you become the future queen. Why would I be miserable? Her smile sharpened. Because it should have been you. Aurelia turned before I could answer. That was the cruelest thing about my sister. She never needed to raise her voice. She could cut someone open with a whisper and leave no blood for anyone else to see. Trumpets sounded. The great doors closed. My father rose. King Aldrich of Valtharis was still an intimidating man at 53, broad shoulders, silver beginning to appear in his dark hair, a scar running from his left temple to his jaw from the ash war 20 years earlier. The hall immediately became silent. Today, he announced, Valtharis looks toward its future. A cheer rose. Princess Aurelia. My sister stepped forward. My father extended his hand. She took it. You were born beneath the blessing of flame. You have demonstrated courage, discipline, wisdom, and strength. I watched the nobles nod. Some looked toward me. They always did when someone praised Aurelia, as though her greatness required a comparison. As your king, my father continued, and as your father I name you Crown Princess of Valtharis. The hall erupted. Aurelia lowered herself to one knee. A servant approached carrying the crown of embers. It was beautiful. Ancient gold twisting around 7 red stones that seemed to glow from within. My father lifted it, then stopped, because someone had started laughing. Quietly, somewhere among the nobles. Perhaps the other princess should try first. More laughter. I knew that voice. Lord Mek, Aurelia's future husband. He stood near the front wearing the white and gold uniform of the Royal Guard. Handsome, rich, powerful, and endlessly amused by my existence. My father's expression darkened. Mek, my apologies, Your Majesty. He was not sorry. But it seems unfortunate to waste such an important ceremony. Surely Princess Ilara deserves one final opportunity. Several nobles laughed. My mother's fingers tightened around the arm of her chair. Enough. But Aurelia surprised everyone. No. She rose. The crown remained in my father's hands. My sister turned toward me. Perhaps Lord Mek is right. I felt the room change. Aurelia, I said quietly. She smiled. Come. Every eye turned toward me. I didn't move. Don't embarrass yourself, my mother whispered. I nearly laughed. That possibility had disappeared years ago. Aurelia reached out her hand. Unless you're afraid. There it was. The trap. Refuse, and I was jealous of my sister. Except, and the kingdom got another chance to watch me fail. I walked forward. Whispers followed every step. Powerless. Hollow. Poor girls. Why does the king keep her at court? She should have joined a convent. My father wouldn't meet my eyes. That hurt more than the whispers. Aurelia led me toward the flame throne. Up close its surface looked strange. Not smooth like ordinary stone. Thousands of tiny markings covered it. Birds, flames, crowns, and words written in a language no living scholar could read. I had seen the throne hundreds of times. But something was different today. Warmth touched my fingertips. I stopped. Aurelia noticed. What? Nothing. The warmth disappeared. A priest approached carrying the royal flame crystal. I knew this priest too. High Priest Koldor. The same man who had tested me when I was 7. Time had bent his back and whitened his hair, but his eyes had not changed. There was pity in them. I hated pity. Princess Ilara. He offered me the crystal. Place both hands around it. I did. The hall became silent. For one foolish heartbeat, I allowed myself to hope. Perhaps something had changed. Perhaps 21 years of silence had only been waiting for this moment. I closed my eyes. Nothing. No heat. No light. No flame. Someone snickered. Then another. I opened my eyes. The crystal remained dark. Aurelia looked almost disappointed. Lord Mek was grinning. There, my father said sharply, this spectacle is finished. I handed the crystal back. Congratulations, sister. Aurelia leaned closer. You could have refused. And let you think I was frightened. For the first time that morning, her smile became genuine. Still stubborn. Still breathing. Barely. I turned away. And that was when the throne spoke. Not with a voice. With a heartbeat. Boom. The sound shook the hall. I froze. Boom. Dust fell from the ceiling. People screamed. Guards drew their swords. My father spun toward the flame throne. A crack had appeared down its center. That was impossible. The throne could not be broken. Boom. The crack widened. Red light poured through it. Everyone back, someone shouted. The nobles began running. Aurelia grabbed my arm. Ilara. Another explosion threw us apart. I hit the marble floor. Heat rolled through the chamber. Not ordinary heat. Ancient heat. The kind that seemed to reach through flesh and touch bone. The throne split open. Fire erupted toward the ceiling. People screamed. Windows shattered. The banners of Valtharis caught fire. And from somewhere beneath us came a sound no living person in that hall had ever heard. A bird's cry. But no bird could make the palace tremble. I pushed myself onto my elbows. Something enormous climbed from the flames. First came wings. Scarlet. Gold. Black at the edges. Then claws large enough to crush a horse. Then a long neck surrounded by burning feathers. The creature rose until its head nearly touched the vaulted ceiling. Every history book in Valtharis said they were extinct. Every priest said the gods had taken them from the world. Every child knew their name. Phoenix. Someone behind me whispered it. Then the entire hall seemed to understand at once. The last phoenix had died 500 years ago. And yet one stood before us. Alive. Burning. Terrible. Beautiful. Aurelia slowly rose. Her fear vanished. Of course it did. The royal prophecy. Every child of our blood knew it. When the true flame sits the throne, the immortal bird shall return. My sister looked at the creature, then at the crown waiting in my father's hands. Understanding filled her face. This was it. Proof. Not merely that she was father's heir. That destiny itself had chosen her. Aurelia stepped forward. The phoenix turned its enormous head. She smiled. I am Aurelia of House Valtharis. The creature stared at her. She extended her hand. Flame gathered in her palms. I welcome you home. For a moment nothing happened. Then the phoenix opened its beak and screamed directly in her face. The force threw Aurelia backward. Mek caught her before she hit the ground. Guards rushed forward. No, High Priest Koldor shouted, do not attack it. The phoenix ignored them. Its burning eyes moved across the hall. Searching. One noble after another dropped to their knees. My father did not. Neither did I. Then those impossible eyes found me. The entire creature went still. I forgot how to breathe. It took one step. People scrambled out of its path. Another. I tried to move. My legs refused. Ilara, my mother whispered, come away. I couldn't. The phoenix stopped in front of me. Its head was larger than my entire body. Fire rolled across its feathers without burning them. I expected pain. Death. Something. Instead, the flames touching the marble around my feet went out. The phoenix lowered its head. Not toward my father. Not toward Aurelia. Toward me. Its beak touched the floor. The last phoenix in existence bowed. Silence swallowed the hall. Then the flames behind it changed. They twisted upward, folded inward, and slowly took the shape of a man. Bare feet touched the ruined throne. Black trousers. A long coat burned at the edges without being consumed. Dark hair fell across a face that belonged to one of the oldest paintings in the palace. I had walked past that painting every day of my childhood. King Kaelan's. The Phoenix King. The ruler who had died 500 years ago. His eyes opened. They were burning gold. People dropped to their knees. Even my father. The dead king looked around the hall as though waking from an inconvenient sleep. Then he saw me. Something changed in his face. Shock. Disbelief. And then anger so deep it frightened me more than the phoenix had. He stepped down from the broken throne. The crowd parted. He stopped directly before me. I couldn't speak. Neither could anyone else. For 500 years, King Kalan had been dead. His portrait hung in the Hall of Fallen Kings. His tomb lay beneath the northern mountains. And yet he stood close enough that I could feel heat coming from his skin. He studied my face, then whispered a name. Not mine. Seraphine. My stomach tightened. I think you've mistaken me for someone else. His expression became almost amused. No. The entire royal court was watching. My father was staring. Aurelia had gone completely pale. The Phoenix King lowered himself onto one knee. Before me, the powerless princess, the useless daughter, the girl who couldn't summon a single flame. He bowed his head, and when he spoke, every person in the Hall of Flame heard him. My queen. I stared down at him, and somewhere deep beneath my skin, something answered. Fire. For several heartbeats no one moved. The Phoenix King remained on one knee before me. The last Phoenix bowed beside him. My father stared as if the world had ended and forgotten to tell him. Aurelia had gone completely still. And I could feel fire beneath my skin. Not burning. Waking. It moved through my veins like something ancient stretching after a long sleep. My queen, King Kalan repeated. His voice was low, rough with disbelief. I swallowed. I am not your queen. His golden eyes lifted to mine. You always did argue when you were frightened. My stomach dropped. I have never met you. A murmur moved through the throne room. Kalan stood. He was taller than I expected from the portrait. Much taller. The paintings made him look noble. Beautiful. Controlled. The man standing in front of me looked like someone carved out of war. There was ash on his cheek. A thin scar crossed his throat. His coat was charred at the edges. And his eyes never left my face. 500 years, he whispered. My father stepped forward. That is enough. Kalan finally looked away from me. The temperature in the hall changed. My father had ruled Valtharis for almost 30 years. Men feared him. Armies obeyed him. But under Kalan's gaze, he suddenly looked like what he truly was. A king standing before a legend. You are Aldrich, Kalan said. My father hesitated. Yes. House Valtharis. Yes. Kalan looked toward the broken throne. Then at the banners burning along the walls. His expression darkened. What year? No one answered. High Priest Koldor slowly approached. Your Majesty. Kalan's gaze snapped toward him. The priest lowered his head. It has been 503 years since your death. Something unreadable passed over Kalan's face. Not shock. Pain. He closed his eyes. Only for a moment. When he opened them again, they returned to me. And she has returned now. My mother stood. Returned. The word came out sharper than I had ever heard from her. She is our daughter. Kalan stared at her. No. The room went silent again. My mother went pale. My father's hand moved toward his sword. What did you say? Kalan took one step toward them. She has never been your daughter. The word struck harder than any weapon. I laughed. It was the wrong reaction. I knew that. But the sound escaped me anyway. That is ridiculous. No one joined me. I looked toward my mother. Tell him. She said nothing. The fire beneath my skin turned cold. Mother. Her lips parted. Ilara. My heart stopped. That tone. I knew that tones. It was the voice people used before saying something that would destroy your life. No. I shook my head. No. My father turned toward her. His expression changed. You know something. She looked at him. Then at me. Aldrich. My father moved toward her. What do you know? I was going to tell you. When? Her silence was answer enough. The entire court was watching. Of course they were. The same people who had laughed minutes ago now leaned forward like scavengers smelling blood. My hands started trembling. Kaylan noticed. He moved closer. I stepped away from him. Don't. His face tightened. I turned to my mother. Tell me. She looked older suddenly. Not the perfect Queen Lysandra everyone admired. Just a frightened woman. You were not born in the palace. I stared at her. I know that. My mother had always told me I had been born at a countryside estate because war had reached the capital. No. She shook her head. You were not born to me. Something inside me cracked. I heard Aurelia inhale. My father did not move. I think he had forgotten how. I whispered, what? My mother descended the steps. I found you. The hole disappeared. Not literally. But I stopped seeing it. All I could see was her. All these years. My voice failed. She reached for me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. Pain crossed her face. Ilara. Where's? She swallowed. The ashwood. Even Kaylan reacted to that. His head turned sharply. My father stared at her. The ashwood is forbidden. I know. You went there. I was desperate. My mother's voice broke. For what? She looked at me. For a child. Aurelia stiffened. My mother closed her eyes. Before Aurelia I lost 3 pregnancies. Whispers spread. My father looked stunned. He clearly had not known that either. I thought I was cursed, she continued. The physicians said there was nothing wrong, priests prayed, healers came, nothing changed. She looked toward the shattered throne. One night I heard an old servant speaking of a place in the ashwood where wishes were answered. High Priest Koldor whispered something under his breath. My mother continued. I went alone. You went into the ashwood alone. My father sounded horrified. Yes. And... My mother looked at me. I found a burning tree. My breath caught. There was no forest around it. Everything for hundreds of feet had turned to ash. Kaylan's face had gone completely still. And beneath the tree, her eyes filled with tears, was a child. I could barely speak. Me. She nodded. You were wrapped in black cloth, you weren't crying. Her mouth trembled. You were laughing. I stared at her. Babies don't laugh when they're abandoned in burning forests. No. Kaylan answered. Everyone turned toward him. They do not. My father stepped between us. You know what she was. Kaylan's eyes narrowed. I know who she was. Was. Not is. The fire beneath my skin pulsed. I looked at Kaylan's. Then tell me. He said nothing. Tell me. The phoenix raised its head at my shout. Flames climbed its wings. Guards stepped back. Kaylan approached slowly. You were Seraphine. The name again. Queen Seraphine of the first flame. High Priest Koldor dropped his staff. It struck the floor with a crack. Someone in the crowd gasped. I had heard the names. Everyone had. Seraphine was a myth. A woman from the oldest legends of Valtharis. Kaelan's wife. The queen who supposedly betrayed him. The woman blamed for the fall of the Phoenix dynasty. I stared at him. No. Kaelan's jaw tightened. Yes. Queen Seraphine died 500 years ago. Yes. So did you. A bitter smile crossed his face. And yet here we are. I shook my head. This is madness. It was madness the first time too. What does that mean? He looked almost amused. You said the same thing the day we met. I wanted to slap him. Instead, I turned toward my mother. You believed I was some dead queen. No. She shook her head quickly. I thought you were abandoned. You found a baby in a forbidden forest beside a burning tree and never thought that was strange. I thought it was a miracle. For you. She flinched. I regretted it immediately. But I couldn't stop. My whole life rearranged itself inside my head. Every birthday. Every family portrait. Every time my father looked disappointed when my magic failed. Every time Aurelia reminded me that I was the defective daughter. None of it belonged to me. Does Aurelia know? No, my mother said. I looked at my sister. For once there was no cruelty in her expression. Only shock. Meg, however, looked terrified. Interesting. I remembered that. Kaelan suddenly turned toward him. Meg stiffened. The Phoenix King's eyes narrowed. You. Meg's hand moved toward his sword. I beg your pardon. You smell like him. The entire hall seemed to tighten. Kaelan walked toward him. Meg backed away. My king, my father warned. Kaelan ignored him. Who? Meg swallowed. I don't know what you're talking about. The phoenix screamed. Meg drew his sword. That was a mistake. The bird moved faster than anything that large should have been able to move. One wing struck the floor. Heat exploded through the chamber. Meg's sword turned red in his hand. He screamed and dropped it. Kaelan grabbed him by the throat. Guards rushed forward. Stop, I shouted. Kaelan froze. Every head turned toward me. I hadn't meant to command him. But something strange happened. The fire around the phoenix vanished instantly. Kaelan released Meg. No one spoke. I stared at my hands. Kaelan stared too. His expression changed. Not surprise. Recognition. You still command the flame. I looked at him. I don't have fire magic. He laughed. Actually laughed. It was not kind. Fire magic. He stepped toward me. Ilara, the little tricks your family performs are sparks. My father bristled. Kaelan ignored him. You were never powerless. He looked toward the phoenix. The great creature lowered its head again. You are the reason fire exists in this kingdom at all. The words made no sense. Then something moved beneath my feet. A deep vibration. Boom. The same heartbeat I had heard from the throne. But this time it came from below. Boom. Kaelan's expression changed immediately. The amusement vanished. What is that? I whispered. He turned toward the shattered throne. Boom. A crack appeared in the marble floor. Black smoke leaked through. The phoenix recoiled. For the first time since it appeared, the creature looked afraid. Kaelan drew a blade from beneath his coat. It was black metal. Fire crawled along its edge. My father stepped beside him. What is beneath my palace? Kaylan stared at the widening crack. Something I died to imprison. The floor exploded. People screamed. Black tendrils erupted from the darkness below. They wrapped around pillars. Torches died. Flames across the hall turned black. And from somewhere deep beneath the palace came a voice. Old. Soft. Hungry. It spoke only one word. Seraphine. My blood went cold. Kaylan moved in front of me. The Phoenix King's entire body ignited. And without looking back, he said, "Now would be an excellent time to remember who you are." The first tendril struck before anyone could run. It whipped across the throne room and wrapped around a marble pillar. The stone cracked. People screamed. The black thing squeezed once. The entire pillar shattered. Kaylan moved before the pieces hit the floor. Down. He threw one hand toward the falling stone. Fire exploded from his palm. The broken marble melted in midair. Not cracked. Melted. It splashed onto the floor in glowing orange pools. Everyone stared. So did I. Kaylan looked back at me. What? You just melted a pillar. Yes. That was stone. Yes. I stared at him. He frowned. This is not the time. Another tendril erupted from the crack. He swung his sword. Flame followed the blade in a bright arc. The tendril split apart. Black smoke hissed from the severed ends. The phoenix screamed and lunged forward. Its wings filled the hall. A wall of fire crashed into the darkness. For one beautiful second, I thought the creature had destroyed it. Then something inside the crack laughed. The flames went black. The phoenix recoiled. Kaylan swore. That frightened me more than anything else. What is it? I shouted. He didn't answer. Kaylan. His head turned. The fact that I had said his name stopped him. Only for a heartbeat. Then another tendril came for me. I didn't see it until Aurelia screamed. Ilara. Something slammed into my chest. I hit the floor. Kaylan landed beside me. The tendril passed over us. He had thrown himself between it and me. His arm was bleeding. Black veins spread from a cut near his shoulder. Kaylan, don't touch it. What? The blood. He tore a piece from his coat and wrapped his arm. The black veins stopped spreading. Barely. What happens if it reaches your heart? He looked at me. I died. You already died. Precisely why I would prefer not to do it again. Even now. He was making jokes. I hated him for that. Maybe because it made me less afraid. Around us, the throne room had collapsed into chaos. Guards dragged nobles toward the doors. My father shouted orders. My mother was helping an injured servant. Aurelia had summoned fire in both hands and was burning away smaller tendrils trying to reach the crowd. She looked at me. For once there was no rivalry between us. Only survival. Mek, she shouted. I turned. He was gone. The place where he had stood was empty. Kaylan noticed too. His expression darkened. I knew it. Knew what? He was marked. By what? Another explosion shook the floor. The crack widened. Something moved below us. Something enormous. Kaylan grabbed my wrist. Come. Where? Away from here. My family is here. Your family will die if you remain. I yanked my arm free. What does that mean? It wants you. Everything today apparently wants me. His eyes hardened. This is not amusing. Neither is waking up and discovering my mother found me under a burning tree and a dead king thinks I'm his wife. Kaylan stared at me. Then absurdly. He smiled. Not mockingly. Almost sadly. There you are. My anger vanished. What? He looked at me as though seeing someone else. You used to shout at me exactly like that. I am not her. His smile disappeared. I know. That wasn't the answer I expected. Before I could ask what he meant, the floor beneath the broken throne collapsed. The sound was deafening. Marble fell into darkness. A hole opened where the ancient throne had stood. Wind rushed upward. Cold wind. Impossible against all that fire. The phoenix backed away. Its feathers dimmed. Kaylan went still. No. From deep below came the sound of chains. One, then another, then dozens. Clanking in the darkness. My father approached carefully. What did you imprison beneath this palace? Kaylan didn't look at him. Not I. His gaze shifted toward me. We did. I felt sick. Stop saying that. It's the truth. I don't remember any of this. Then perhaps that was the point. High Priest Koldor appeared beside us. He carried a book. I had never seen it before. The cover was black, burned around the edges. He looked terrified. Your Majesty. Kaylan saw the book and went pale. Where did you get that? It was sealed beneath the temple. Who opened it? Koldor hesitated. Kaylan grabbed him. Who? King Aldrich. My father turned. What? The priest's face crumpled. Not knowingly. Everyone stared at him. Koldor opened the book. The pages were covered in the same markings carved into the flame throne. Birds. Crowns. Fire. And something else. A black circle surrounded by 7 chains. My stomach twisted. I have seen that symbol. Kaylan turned to me. Where? In dreams. Silence. My mother stepped closer. What dreams? I suddenly didn't want to answer. But everyone was waiting. I started having them when I was 13. Kaylan's eyes narrowed. What happens? I looked toward the hole. A woman stands in a burning room. My voice sounded small. She is crying. Kaylan stopped breathing. She has blood on her hands. The phoenix lowered its head. And there's a man lying on the floor. Kaylan's face became unreadable. I continued. She says she's sorry. His jaw tightened. And then, she puts her hand on his chest. A memory flashed through me. Not a dream. Not anymore. Heat. Blood. Someone screaming my name. My hand shaking. Kaylan on the floor. No. I stepped backward. No. Kaylan reached for me. I slapped his hand away. What did I do? He said nothing. What did I do? The voice beneath the palace answered for him. You killed him. Everyone froze. The black smoke rising from the hole began to twist. Slowly, deliberately, it gathered into the shape of a man. Not fully human. Too tall. Too thin. His face shifted every few seconds. Young. Old. Beautiful. Rotting. Then young again. Black chains wrapped around his body. 7 of them. Each chain disappeared into the darkness below. His eyes opened. They were white. He looked at me. My sweet Seraphine. Kalan stepped in front of me. The shadow smiled. Still protecting her. Kalan raised his sword. Still imprisoned. The creature laughed. You always were arrogant. And you always talked too much. The shadow's smile widened. I've had 500 years with no one to speak to. Its head tilted. Except her. My heart stopped. Kalan turned slightly. What? The creature looked delighted. She didn't tell you. Tell me what? Her soul has visited me every night since she returned. I couldn't breathe. The dreams, the burning room, the chains, the voice I had heard as a child. I had always thought it was my imagination. Come closer. Just a little closer. I remember you. Kalan looked at me. Ilara. I didn't know. The shadow whispered. She did. Pain exploded behind my eyes. I screamed. The hall disappeared. And suddenly, I was somewhere else. 500 years earlier. I knew it before anyone told me. The throne room was whole. Sunlight filled the windows. No broken stone. No smoke. No bodies. I looked down. My hands were different. Older. Covered in blood. Kalan lay in front of me. Not the Kalan standing beside me now. This Kalan was dying. His gold eyes were dim. A blade protruded from his chest. My blade. I was crying. No, I whispered. But the woman whose eyes I was seeing through spoke. I'm sorry. Kalan reached up. Touched my face. You have to do it. I can't. You promised me. I can't lose you. You won't. He smiled despite the blood on his teeth. You'll find me again. Someone screamed behind us. The room shook. Black smoke poured beneath the doors. Kalan grabbed my wrist. Seraphine. I love you. I knows. Knows. His eyes softened. I love you too. Then my hand closed around the hilt and pushed the blade deeper. Fire exploded from Kalan's body. I screamed. The flames consumed us both. Then I saw the shadow creature, standing behind the throne, watching, smiling. Its 7 chains snapped into place, one by one, and Seraphine whispered, "Forgive me." The memory shattered. I collapsed. Someone caught me. Kalan. I grabbed his coat. You asked me to kill you. His face went white. You remember. Why? The shadow answered. Because his death was the lock. I looked toward it. And yours. Its smile widened. Was the key. Kalan raised his sword again. Enough. The creature ignored him. Its white eyes stayed on me. You sealed me away with his soul. My blood went cold. And now he has returned. One of the chains around the creature cracked. A sound like thunder rolled through the palace. Kalan's face changed. He understood. So did I. His resurrection had weakened the prison. The phoenix began screaming. A second chain cracked. The shadow lifted its arms. You brought my lock back to life. Black fire erupted from the hole. Kalan dragged me behind him. The thing beneath the throne laughed. And now Seraphine. Its voice filled the entire palace. All you have to do is remember how to set me free. The third chain broke before anyone could move. The sound was worse than thunder. It was the sound of something ancient deciding it no longer had to obey. The black figure beneath the ruined throne stretched taller. Its body pushed against the remaining chains. One snapped tight. Another groaned. The whole palace shook. Kaylan grabbed my hand. Run. I stared at him. What? Now? The command in his voice left no room to argue. He pulled me toward the side passage as the phoenix launched itself at the shadow. The creature's wings struck the air. Fire exploded across the hall. The shadow screamed. Not in pain. In fury. Black tendrils whipped toward the phoenix. One wrapped around its wing. The phoenix shrieked. I stopped. It's trapped. Kaylan dragged me harder. It will survive. You don't know that. I do. How? Because it died with me once. I stumbled. What? Later. There was always a later with him. Always another impossible answer, waiting behind the next disaster. My father shouted behind us. Get everyone out. Guards forced the remaining nobles toward the doors. My mother disappeared into the crowd. Aurelia stood near the center of the hall, her hands burning bright. She was holding back 3 black tendrils at once. Ilara. I turned. She looked at me. For the first time in my life, I saw fear in my sister's eyes. Not fear for herself. For me. Go. I hesitated. Kaylan did not. He dragged me through a narrow archway. The moment we crossed it, he slammed his palm against the wall. A symbol flared beneath his hand. Ancient gold. The doorway sealed with fire. I stared at it. You knew that was there. I built it. 500 years ago. Yes. This palace didn't exist 500 years ago. It did. I stopped. No, it didn't. Kaylan looked at me. Your histories are wrong. Of course they were. Why wouldn't they be? Everything else in my life apparently was. The corridor ahead was dark. Kaylan lifted his hand. A small flame appeared above his palm. I watched it. He noticed. You can stop looking at fire as though you've never seen it. I've never seen it behave like that. Like what? Like it listens. It does. To you. To us. I hated the way he kept saying us. Kaylan started walking. I followed. What was that thing? He didn't answer. Kaylan. His name is Morvin. The name made the corridor feel colder. Who is he? A king. A king of what? Kaylan's flame flickered. Nothing anymore. That tells me nothing. It tells you enough. I grabbed his arm. He stopped. No. My voice came out harder than I expected. No more half answers. Kaylan looked down at my hand on his sleeve. Then at me. You want the truth? Yes. All of it. Yes. His expression changed. Something almost like pity entered his eyes. I hated that even more. Fine. He turned fully toward me. Morvin was once king of Vaya. I frowned. There is no Vaya. Not anymore. Where was it? North of Valtharis. The northern wastes. Before they became wastes. I released his arm. Kaylan continued. Vaya was larger than this kingdom, richer, older. What happened? Morvin. The flame above his hand dimmed. He wanted immortality. Everyone wants immortality. Knows. Kaylan's voice turned cold. Everyone fears death. Morvin hated it. I waited. He believed death was not natural, that it was a prison placed upon mankind by the gods. That sounds insane. It was. What did he do? He found a way to tear open the veil. My stomach tightened. Even children knew about the veil. The invisible boundary between the living world and whatever came after. Priests spoke about it during funerals. No one crossed it. No one returned. Except apparently Kaylan. What was on the other side? His jaw tightened. Something that should never have touched this world. I looked back toward the sealed doorway. Those shadows. No. His answer was immediate. Those are only pieces of him now. I swallowed. What did he become? Kaylan looked at me for a long moment. Hungry. That was somehow worse. We walked again. Where are we going? The old sanctuary. Another secret room you forgot to mention. You didn't ask. I glared at him. His mouth almost twitched. Do not smile. I wasn't. You were about to. You still do that. What? Scold me when you're terrified. I stopped again. Stop comparing me to her. Kaylan turned. His expression sobered. I am trying not to. Then try harder. He looked away. That was the first time I realized something. Kaylan wasn't only confusing me with Seraphine. He was afraid to. The difference mattered. I stepped closer. You said earlier that you know I'm not her. Yes. But you called me Seraphine. Yes. And bowed to me. Yes. Why? His eyes met mine. Because the soul remembers before the mind does. That sounds like something priests say when they don't know the answer. It means you are her. My stomach twisted. And not her. That's convenient. It's the truth. He took a breath. Seraphine lived. His voice softened. She loved, she made mistakes, she died. He looked at me. You are not a memory wearing her face. For the first time since he appeared, something in my chest loosened. Then he ruined it. But her soul is yours. I sighed. Of course. Kaylan reached the end of the corridor. A stone wall blocked us. He pressed his thumb against a carved phoenix. Nothing happened. His expression changed. That is strange. What? The door should open. He tried again. Still nothing. Then he looked at me. No. I immediately stepped back. What? Your hand. I don't like where this is going. Place it there. Why? Because the sanctuary belonged to Seraphine. I stared at the carved phoenix. Then at him. If I touch it and another dead king climbs out, I'm blaming you. That seems fair. I placed my palm against the carving. Heat raced through my hand. The stone wall vanished. Not opened. Vanished. I jumped back. Kaylan laughed. I glared at him. You said no smiling. I failed. Beyond the doorway was a circular chamber. Unlike the palace above, it looked untouched. Golden lamps flared to life one by one. A mosaic covered the floor. 2 phoenixes surrounded a woman in white. At the center stood a stone pedestal. Something rested on it. A crown. Not the crown of embers. This one was silver. Thin. Simple. 7 tiny flames were carved around its edge. Kaylan went completely still. I stepped toward it. What is that? He didn't answer. Kaylan, that crown burned with you. I looked at him. What? I watched it melt. The room suddenly felt smaller. So how is it here? I don't know. I approached the pedestal. The crown looked untouched. No dust. No rust. Nothing. I reached for it. Kaylan caught my wrist. Wait. You just told me this sanctuary belonged to me. It did. Then why are you afraid? His fingers tightened. Because there was nothing here after you died. Something scraped behind us. We turned. The wall had reappeared. The doorway was gone. I stared. Kaylan. I know. The lamps went out. Darkness swallowed us. Then the crown ignited. Silver fire. A woman's voice filled the room. My voice. Not exactly. Older. Stronger. Seraphine. If you are hearing this. I stopped breathing. Kaylan looked like he had been struck. Then we failed. The silver flames rose above the crown. They formed an image. A woman. She had my face. But she wore it differently. Her hair was longer. A thin scar crossed one eyebrow. And she looked exhausted. Beside her stood another figure. Kaylan. Younger. Alive. He was arguing with someone outside the memory. Seraphine looked directly toward us. Toward me. I don't know how much you remember. My hands started shaking. But if you have returned, Morvin will return too. Kaylan stepped closer to the projection. Seraphine. The image continued. You will be told that Kaylan's death sealed him. Kaylan froze. The words from the shadow beneath the palace echoed in my head. His death was the lock. Yours was the key. Seraphine's expression hardened. That is a lie. My blood went cold. Kaylan looked at me. Neither of us spoke. The projection continued. Morvin was never sealed by Kaylan's death. The silver fire flickered. He was sealed by mine. Kaylan whispered no. Seraphine looked almost as though she heard him. And if I have returned. The memory paused. It means my seal is already failing. I stared at my own face in the flames. What do we do? Of course she couldn't answer me. Then she did. Do not trust the Phoenix King. Kaylan stopped breathing. I turned slowly toward him. The projection of Seraphine continued. I loved him. Her voice broke. I loved him more than my kingdom, more than my crown, perhaps more than I should have loved anyone. Kaylan's face had gone pale. But if he has returned with you. The flames trembled. Then he is not the man I buried. I backed away from Kaylan. He looked at me. Ilara, don't. Listen to me. The projection continued. There was something inside him before he died. Kaylan stared at the flames. His face changed. Not anger. Recognition. Fear. Seraphine lifted one trembling hand. Black veins covered her fingers. The same black veins spreading from Kaylan's wound. My eyes snapped toward his wrapped arm. He saw me looking. Ilara. I stepped away. The silver image whispered. If the darkness reaches his heart. Kaylan slowly lowered his sword. Morvin will not need to escape his prison. The flames dimmed. He will already have a body. Silence. I stared at Kaylan. He stared back. Then blood dripped from beneath the cloth around his arm. Black. Kaylan looked down. The veins had spread past his shoulder, toward his chest. The last silver flame vanished. And somewhere far beneath us, Morvin began to laugh. For a moment, neither of us moved. Kaylan stood beneath the fading silver light, with one hand pressed to his chest. Black veins crawled beneath his skin. They spread slowly, deliberately, like roots searching for soil. I stared at them. He stared at me. Then he pulled his coat closed, as if that would somehow make the problem disappear. I almost laughed. Instead I said, "Take it off." His eyebrows lifted. "What? Your coat?" "Ilara's. Now's." His mouth twitched. "This is a remarkably inappropriate time to become interested in my clothing." "Kaylan's." He sighed, then unfastened the coat. The fabric slipped from one shoulder. My stomach tightened. The wound had changed. The cut itself was small, but black lines spread outward from it across his chest and collarbone. Some had already reached the center of his sternum. I stepped closer. "How long?" "I don't know. You said it would kill you if it reached your heart." "Yes. And you didn't think that was worth mentioning." I was slightly occupied. "With what?" He gestured around the sanctuary. "Being resurrected, finding you, discovering 5 centuries had passed, watching Morvin break free. You forgot the part where you insulted my entire royal family." "That was not difficult." I glared at him. He smiled. I hated that I was beginning to recognize when he smiled, because he was trying to hide fear. "Sit down." "Ilara." "Sit." He sat. That surprised me. I knelt beside him. The moment my fingers approached the black veins, Kaylan caught my wrist. "Do not touch them." "Why?" "Because we don't know what they will do to you. I apparently sealed Morvin once. You apparently died doing it." "Comforting." His grip tightened. "I am serious." "So am I." I looked at the veins again. Seraphine's memory said Morvin could use your body. Kaylan said nothing. That frightened me. "You knew." His eyes shifted away. "You knew this could happen." "I suspected." "Since when?" "Since I woke." I stood. "You knew from the beginning." "No." "When?" "When I saw Morvin." I paced away from him. He watched me. "You could have told me." "What would that have changed?" "I would have known not to trust you." The words came out harsher than I meant. Kaylan's expression changed. Not anger. Something quieter. "That," he said, "is precisely why I didn't." I stopped. For the first time, the room felt completely silent. "You wanted me to trust you." "Yes." "Why?" His gaze held mine. "Because 500 years ago, you were the only person who did." I didn't know what to say to that. So I said nothing. The sanctuary trembled. Dust drifted from the ceiling. Kaylan rose. "We need to leave. The door is sealed." "Not anymore." He walked toward the wall. The moment he reached it, the stone split open. I stared. "You couldn't do that before." "No." "Why can you now?" Kaylan looked down at his hand. For one heartbeat, black smoke curled around his fingers. Then vanished. My blood chilled. He saw it too. "That's bad," I said. "Yes." "How bad?" "Very." Another tremor shook the room. We hurried into the corridor. The palace sounded different now. Too quiet. No screaming. No fighting. Nothing. That was worse. We reached the sealed archway. The fire barrier was gone. Kaylan slowed. Stay behind me. I hate when you say that. You may continue hating it while standing behind me. He drew his sword. I didn't argue. We entered the throne room. I expected destruction. Instead, everyone was kneeling. My father, my mother, Aurelius, the guards, the nobles who had not escaped. Every person in the hall was on their knees, facing the broken throne. My stomach dropped. What happened? No one moved. Father. His head turned slowly. His eyes were completely black. I froze. Kaylan stepped in front of me. Morvint. My father's mouth opened, but the voice that came out was not his. Not yet. Dozens of people spoke at once. Every kneeling person. The same voice. The same words. Not yet. The sound filled the hall. Kaylan raised his sword. Release them. All those black eyes turned toward him. The crowd smiled. You always did mistake commands for power. Kaylan's grip tightened. Release them. Wise. The possessed nobles rose. Slowly. Together. My mother smiled at me. It was the most horrifying thing I had ever seen. Ilara. I stepped forward. Kaylan blocked me. Don't. My family is alive. For now, Morvin said through them. Aurelia stepped toward me. Black eyes. Perfect smile. Hello, sister. My throat tightened. Aurelia. Morvin laughed through her. She hated you. I flinched. Stop. She envied you before she even knew why. Stop. She knew your father looked at you differently. My father stepped forward. He did. The words came through his mouth in Morvin's voice. I stared. The shadow continued. He wondered why he could never love you as easily as he loved her. Pain stabbed through me. Kaylan turned toward me. Don't listen. Why not? Morvin asked. It is true. My father smiled. He was ashamed of you. I knew that. I had always known that. But hearing it aloud was different. He wished you had never been born. I closed my eyes. Kaylan's hand found mine. Warmth. Steady. Morvin noticed. Every possessed face turned toward our joined hands. Then smiled. Oh. Kaylan released me immediately. Too late. Morvin laughed. That hasn't changed either. I looked at Kaylan's. He stared toward the crowd. Do not speak to her. I wasn't speaking to her. Every black eye shifted toward him. I was speaking to you. Kaylan's jaw tightened. Morvin continued. You found her again. Silence. And she doesn't remember loving you. Kaylan's expression did not change, but his fingers tightened around his sword. Morvin laughed softly. Cruel, isn't it? Enough. You waited 5 centuries. I said enough. And she looks at you like a stranger. Black smoke flickered around Kaylan's boots. I noticed. So did Morvin. Those. The possessed crowd smiled wider. You feel it. Kaylan's breathing changed. Kaylan. He ignored me. Morvin stepped closer through Aurelia. The anger. Black smoke climbed Kaylan's arm. The grief. More smoke. The fear. Kaylan's sword began to darken. I grabbed his hand. Kaylan. He turned toward me. His eyes flashed black. Only for a second. But I saw it. He yanked his hand away. Don't touch me. The words were sharp. Then his face changed. Regret. Ilara. Morvin laughed. There's my door. Kaylan staggered. His sword fell. I caught him. He dropped to one knee. Black veins spread across his throat. Nose. I pressed my hands against his shoulders. Stay with me. Get away. Nose. Ilara. I'm not leaving. His eyes flickered. Gold. Black. Gold again. Morvin spoke through the crowd. You cannot save him. I looked up. Watch me. The laughter stopped. Every possessed face stared at me. I had no idea what I was doing. But anger had replaced fear. Years of it. Every insult. Every whisper. Every time someone called me powerless. Every moment I had believed them. Something burned inside me. Not beneath my skin this time. Inside my bones. Kaylan looked up. His eyes widened. Ilara. What? Your hands. I looked down. Fire covered them. Silver fire. It didn't burn me. It wrapped around my fingers like silk. The possessed crowd recoiled. For the first time. Morvin looked afraid. I pressed both hands against Kaylan's chest. He shouted. Silver fire exploded through him. Black smoke poured from the wound. Kaylan fell backward. I stayed with him. The veins beneath his skin began retreating. Slowly. Then faster. Morvin screamed through 100 mouths. No. I pressed harder. I thought I was powerless. The silver flames climbed my arms. Morvin's hold over the hall flickered. My mother's eyes returned to blue for 1 second. Then black again. I looked toward them. You spent my whole life convincing me of it. The fire spread across the floor. Not burning. Purifying. Everywhere it touched, black smoke disappeared. Morvin screamed again. Kaylan grabbed my wrist. Ilara. I looked at him. His eyes were gold. Only gold. You're doing it. I don't know how. You never did. What? He smiled weakly. You always learned by getting angry. I laughed despite myself. Then the palace shook. Harder than before. The remaining chains beneath the throne pulled tight. Morvin's voice changed. The amusement vanished. You think this changes anything? The possessed nobles collapsed. One after another. My father fell. My mother. Aurelius. The blackness left their eyes. I almost ran to them. Then a sound stopped me. Clapping. Slow. Deliberate. From the far end of the hall. Someone stepped from behind a broken pillar. Meg. He was smiling. Aurelia stirred on the floor. Meg. He looked at her. No black eyes. No possession. He was completely himself. Kaylan rose beside me. His expression turned murderous. I knew it. Meg laughed. Eventually. Aurelia pushed herself up. What are you doing? Meg ignored her. He looked at me. You've made this far more difficult than expected. My stomach twisted. You serve Morvin. No. His smile widened. I serve the man Morvin was supposed to free. Even Kaylan went still. What man? Mek looked toward the broken throne, then toward the burning windows. Your histories truly are terrible. He pulled a black object from beneath his coat. A small dagger. Its blade was carved with 7 symbols. The same symbols from the chains. Kaylan's face went white. Where did you get that? From the tomb you never thought anyone would find. He raised the dagger. The phoenix screamed from somewhere outside the palace. Kaylan whispered one word. No. Mek drove the blade into the floor. Every remaining chain shattered. The palace erupted. The sound was so violent I felt it in my teeth. Black fire exploded from beneath the throne. The ceiling cracked. Windows burst outward. And Morvin screamed. Not in triumph. In terror. Something climbed out of the darkness behind him. Something even the Shadow King feared. 2 enormous wings unfolded. Not feathers. Bones. A crown of black flame rose above a figure hidden inside smoke. Kaylan grabbed my hand. His voice was barely a whisper. Ilara. For the first time since his return, the Phoenix King sounded afraid. That is not Morvin. I stared at the thing right. The creature rose until its wings touched the broken ceiling. Not feathers. Not flesh. Bone and smoke. Its body was shaped like a man, only because something had once taught darkness to imitate one. Black fire burned beneath its ribs. A crown floated above its head. No metal. No jewels. Just flame. Cold flame. The kind that made every torch in the room dim. Morvin stood below it. Smaller now. Afraid. I had thought Morvin was the monster. I had been wrong. The thing looked down at him. You failed. Its voice was quiet. That made it worse. Morvin sank to one knee. My king. Kaylan moved in front of me. His sword blazed. Vareth. The creature's head turned. Slowly. Kaylan. The way it said his name felt ancient. Personal. I looked at Kaylan's. You know him. His face was rigid. Yes. Who is he? The creature answered for him. The first king of this land. My father had gotten to his feet. Blood ran from his temple. He stared upward. That is impossible. Vareth looked at him. Your line has always been very fond of that word. My father gripped his sword. Valtharis was founded 800 years ago. No. Vareth descended from the smoke. He did not walk. The darkness carried him. It was renamed 800 years ago. The hall went silent. Vareth looked around. Almost fondly. This was my kingdom. Kaylan raised his blade. Your kingdom died with you. Vareth's empty eyes returned to him. And yet you built your throne upon its grave. I looked between them. You said Morvin was king of Vaya. Kaylan nodded. He was. Then how can Vareth be the first king? Because Vaya existed before Morvin. Vareth smiled. Much before. Morvin remained kneeling. His chains were gone now. But he did not run. He looked like a servant before his master. I finally understood. You imprisoned Morvin because he was trying to free Vareth. Kaylan glanced at me. Yes. And Mek freed Morvin so Morvin could free him. Yes. Mek bowed dramatically from across the hall. Very good. Aurelia stared at him. Her face was white. You knew. Mek looked at her. Of course. You were going to marry me. Yes. Her voice broke. Why? Mek's smile vanished. Because your crown gave me access to the throne. Aurelia flinched. I had never seen anyone hurt her like that. Part of me had once believed I would enjoy it. I didn't. Not even a little. She looked at him as though she had never seen him before. You never loved me. Mek almost looked sorry. No. Aurelia closed her eyes. Then opened them. Fire erupted from both hands. Good. She threw it at him. Mek barely dodged. The blast struck a pillar. Stone exploded. I stared at my sister. She looked at me. What? Despite everything, I smiled. Nothing. Vareth raised one hand. Aurelia's fire died instantly. Every flame in the room vanished with it. Darkness. Then the phoenix crashed through the shattered windows. Its body lit the hall. It screamed at Vareth. Vareth looked almost amused. There you are. The phoenix lunged. Vareth caught it by the throat. Everyone shouted. He lifted the enormous creature as though it weighed nothing. The phoenix thrashed. Flame poured from its wings. Vareth's hand tightened. Its fire began turning black. No. I ran forward. Kaelan grabbed me around the waist. Ilara. He'll kill it. Yes. Then let me go. No. I fought him. Kaelan. You cannot fight him yet. Then who can? His answer stopped me. No one. Vareth threw the phoenix. It crashed through the ruined throne. Stone shattered. The creature did not rise. Its flames flickered weakly. Something inside me twisted. Not grief. Recognition. I felt its pain. As if it were mine. I stopped fighting Kaelan. What is happening? He looked at me. You're bonded. To the phoenix. Yes. Since when? Since before either of us remembers. I stared at the fallen creature. Then heat exploded behind my eyes. A memory. Not Seraphine. Something older. Much older. A desert beneath two suns. A woman kneeling beside a dying bird. My hands. Not my hands. Covered in gold fire. A voice saying, one life. Two flames. Forever. The memory vanished. I staggered. Kaelan caught me. Ilara. I saw something. Vareth turned. His head tilted. He had felt it. Interesting. I looked at him. For the first time his expression changed. Not arrogance. Curiosity. You remember the first flame. Kaelan tightened his grip on me. Don't speak to her. Vareth ignored him. You were there. My stomach dropped. Where? When fire was born. No one moved. I laughed once. A small broken sound. Of course I was. Kaelan looked at me. This isn't funny. I know. I looked at him. But every hour today, someone tells me I am older, more powerful, or more dead than I thought. His mouth twitched. I suppose that's fair. Vareth stepped closer. Kaelan raised his sword. Black smoke crawled along the blade. He looked down. The corruption was returning. Vareth smiled. You cannot protect her. I have before. And you died. Kaelan's eyes hardened. So did you. Vareth's smile faded. For the first time I saw anger. The entire palace shook. Vareth looked at me again. You want truth? I almost laughed. Apparently everyone did. Yes. Then ask him what Seraphine was before she became his queen. Kaylan went still. I turned. What does he mean? Ilara. What was she? Kaylan said nothing. Vareth circled us. Tell her. Be silent. She deserves to know. Kaylan's jaw clenched. I stepped away from him. What was I? He looked at me. Pain entered his face. Not fear. Shame. You weren't born human. The room seemed to tilt. My father whispered, "What?" I barely heard him. What was I? Kaylan closed his eyes. Then opened them. A Flamekeeper. I frowned. That means nothing. It means you were created. Silence. I stared at him. Created. By the phoenixes. My stomach twisted. For what? Kaylan looked at Vareth. To kill him. I stopped breathing. Vareth laughed softly. There it is. I looked toward the phoenix. Its eyes were open. Watching me. Kaylan continued. Long before Valtharis, before Vea, before any kingdom that still exists, the phoenixes guarded the first flame. What is the first flame? The source of fire, of rebirth. Vareth's gaze sharpened. Kaylan continued. It cannot create life from nothing. I looked at him. But it can return what has died. Kaylan nodded. Again and again. I thought of him. 500 years dead. Standing beside me. I thought of myself. A dead queen born again, as a child beneath a burning tree. The first flame brought us back. Kaylan's expression darkened. Yes. Wise. He did not answer. Vareth did. Because someone used it. We both turned toward him. Whose? His smile returned. Meg. Every head in the room turned. Meg's face changed. Just slightly. Enough. Kaylan's expression became murderous. You. Meg backed away. No. Vareth laughed. He didn't know what he was doing. Liar. No. Vareth seemed delighted. He thought he was awakening me. Meg shook his head. My family served you for generations. Your family served a promise. Vareth moved toward him. Meg retreated. You said if we opened the tomb, I would restore what was lost. You lied. Vareth stopped in front of him. I never lied. He touched Meg's face almost gently. You simply misunderstood. Then his fingers sank into Meg's chest. Aurelia screamed. Meg gasped. No blood. No wound. Vareth pulled something from him. A small flame. Red. Bright. Meg collapsed. Dead. Aurelia stared. Her fire vanished. Vareth held the flame between two fingers. A life for a life. Then he crushed it. The phoenix shrieked. All the windows shattered. I felt something inside me tear open. Silver fire erupted from my body. Vareth turned. The flames around me rose higher. My dress burned away at the edges but did not consume. A crown appeared above my head. Not gold. Not silver. Fire. 7 flames. The same crown from the sanctuary. Everyone stared. Kaylan whispered, Seraphine. I looked at him. No. The fire climbed higher. I am Ilarat. The name felt different now. Stronger. Mine. I turned toward Vareth. And I am done being told who I used to be. The silver flames spread across the hall. Vareth's shadows retreated. For the first time he took a step backward. Kaelan stared at me. The phoenix lifted its head. Weakly. Then bowed. Again. But this time I understood why. Not because I was a queen. Not because I was Seraphine. Because something older lived inside me. Something made before crowns. Before bloodlines. Before kings. Vareth looked at me. And smiled. There she is. I raised my burning hands. Whose? His answer made Kaelan go pale. The woman who killed me the first time. The palace trembled. The silver fire around me vanished. I stared at him. You said I was created to kill you. Yes. Then why are you smiling? Vareth spread his wings. Because you failed. Behind him the broken floor split wider. Far below us. Something began to glow. Gold. Not black. Not silver. Gold. Kaelan stared into the pit. No. I looked at him. What now? Vareth laughed. The first flame. My blood went cold. He looked toward the light below. You thought this palace was built over my grave. His smile widened. It was built over the thing I was trying to reach. The golden light grew brighter. The phoenix screamed. Vareth looked back at me. And now that you're finally awake. He extended one hand. You can open it for me. Vareth extended his hand toward the golden light beneath the palace. Open it. I stared into the chasm. The first flame pulsed below us like a second sun. Every instinct told me to run. Instead, I stepped forward. Kaelan caught my arm. Ilara. I looked at him. His face was pale. The black veins had returned along his throat. If you open it, he said, he will take it. Vareth smiled. If she does not, this kingdom burns anyway. My father moved beside Aurelia. My mother stood behind them. The phoenix struggled to rise. Everyone was waiting for me. Again. For years, people had decided what I was. Powerless. Unwanted. A mistake. Then today I had become a lost queen. A weapon. A reincarnated soul. A flamekeeper. I was tired of being named by everyone except myself. I looked at Vareth. You said I failed to kill you. Yes. Why? His smile widened. Because you were afraid. The answer struck something deep inside me. Not because it was true. Because it wasn't. Another memory opened. Seraphine standing before Vareth centuries ago. Fire everywhere. Kaelan beside her. The phoenixes screaming overhead. Vareth laughing. And Seraphine saying, I cannot destroy the first flame to destroy you. Millions will lose the gift of rebirth. Kaelan had grabbed her hand. Then we find another way. That was why she had failed. Not fear. Mercy. The memory vanished. I looked at Vareth. You lied. His smile faded. You always lie when the truth makes you smaller. Ilara, Kaelan whispered. I stepped toward the chasm. Vareth's wings spread. Yes. I raised my hands. The first flame surged upward. Golden fire exploded from the pit. Everyone screamed. Vareth laughed. Then the fire passed him. It came to me. Wrapped around my body. My crown ignited. The phoenix rose with a deafening cry. Kalan shielded his face. Vareth's expression changed. No. For the first time he looked truly afraid. I understood. He had never been able to command the first flame. That was why he needed me. He thought I would open a door for him. But the flame wasn't a door. It was alive. And it remembered me. I looked at the phoenix. Together, the creature screamed. I smiled. Good. Vareth lunged. Kalan intercepted him. Their blades collided. Black fire against gold. Kalan shouted, now. I thrust both hands forward. The first flame struck Vareth. He screamed. His wings ignited. Morvin tried to flee. The phoenix swept across the hall and trapped him in a circle of fire. Vareth reached for me. You cannot kill me. I stepped closer. No. His face twisted. But I can stop bringing you back. Understanding filled his eyes. The first flame did not merely return life. It remembered life. Every rebirth. Every soul it had restored. Including Vareth's. I reached into the flame. I found his thread. And let it go. Vareth screamed. His body cracked. Black fire poured from him. His crown shattered. His wings collapsed into ash. No. I closed my hand. He vanished. Not imprisoned. Not sleeping. Gone. Morvin fell with him. The darkness disappeared. Silence filled the hall. Then the first flame began collapsing. Kalan looked at me. Ilara. The fire rushed back toward the chasm. So did the black corruption inside his chest. He dropped to his knees. I ran to him. No. He looked up at me. Almost peaceful. It was always going to end this way. Stop saying ridiculous things. He laughed weakly. Ilara. No. I pressed my hands against his chest. The flame inside him was fading. You came back. For you. Then stay. His eyes softened. I don't know if I can. The phoenix landed behind me. Its head touched my shoulder. Heat moved through me. I understood what it was offering. One life. 2 flames. Forever. I looked at Kalan's. This may hurt. His mouth twitched. You've said that before. I kissed him. For 1 second he froze. Then his hand came to my face. The first flame exploded around us. When the light disappeared, we were both lying on the floor. I opened my eyes. Kalan was beside me. Still. Kalan. Nothing. My chest broke. Then he coughed. I was enjoying the silence. I hit him. He laughed. Actually laughed. I started crying. He pulled me against him. Around us the palace slowly became quiet. The phoenix lowered its head. My father approached. Then stopped. For once he didn't know what to say. Neither did I. Aurelia stepped forward first. Her dress was torn. Her crown gone. She looked exhausted. I suppose this means you're the heir now. I stared at her. Then laughed. No. Everyone looked surprised. I stood. I don't want your throne. My father frowned. Ilara. I spent my whole life trying to be worthy of something that never wanted me. I looked at Aurelia. She does. My sister stared at me. Slowly I held out my hand. After a moment she took it. My father lowered his head. Not as a king. As a man ashamed. Perhaps one day I would forgive him. Perhaps not. I didn't have to decide today. Kaylan stood beside me. So what now, my queen? I looked at him. I told you. His smile appeared. You aren't my queen. Correct. The phoenix rumbled behind us. Kaylan glanced at it. It disagrees. Then it can learn. He laughed. I took his hand. Outside, dawn was breaking over Valtharis. For the first time in my life, the fire inside me did not feel like proof of what I was supposed to become. It simply felt like mine. They had called me powerless. They had called me hollow. They had called me a mistake. But when the oldest flame in the world woke beneath the palace, it did not choose a princess. It did not choose a queen. It chose me. And this time, I chose myself.